November 29, 2011, by a wife of one of the senior military officers. First, it was Jimmy Carter, then came Bill Clinton, and now the story is getting even better with this current visit by George W. Bush to Zambia. And all the three visits by these former American presidents have been for a good cause, from the election observer mission by the Carter Center to Mr. Bush's enhanced fight against HIV, AIDS, and cancer. Let's take a look.
All right.
Today, they get to meet the man known to a Zambian audience only through the media's eyes. To many who have followed the Bush administration closely, he is the man responsible for declaring war on terror. But today, former United States of America President George W. Bush has declared war against a different enemy. The war that has come with the pink ribbon and red ribbon campaign is against cancer and HIV/AIDS.
It was good that we came to Africa to celebrate World AIDS Day because the statistics really do undermine the fact that there's still a lot of people who suffer. In other words, the tendency, and when you put a program in place that's so successful, and it's extraordinarily successful, is to say, okay, we've done what we need to do. But the truth of the matter is, we've just begun what we need to do. And so there's more work to be done. As I said yesterday, and the doc reminded me of, that there's nothing more miserable than to help save a woman's life from HIV/AIDS and watch her die with cervical cancer.
Several partners in the program have pledged continued support to the initiative with an initial investment of $75 million United States dollars on a global scale.
In the UNAIDS are in a momentum where we just set our new strategic framework, which says 0 new infections, 0 discrimination, and 0 AIDS-related deaths.
So to return here 8 years later and see what that big, bold idea has accomplished, that 400,000 people in Zambia are receiving antiretroviral treatment and thousands more have benefited from PEPFAR, it tells you what a big, bold idea and partnership can really accomplish.
First Lady Dr. Christine Kaseva-Sata has called on Zambians to take advantage of the initiative.
Today's launch points the way to broader and future horizons in prevention and supportive care for cancer patients and their families in Zambia. As somebody said, good health is one of the most important things in life, but we often take it for granted and only realize its true value after we lose it. I urge my fellow women to therefore seize this chance and ensure full utilization of services being availed by the initiative.
The former president today visited the Cancer Disease Hospital and had an audience with members of staff and cancer survivors. This visit is among the top priorities of his 2-day visit here in Zambia. With the launch of the Pink Ribbon, Red Ribbon campaign, partners in the initiative aim to reduce death caused by cervical cancer in the country by 25%. Penelope Kapambwe reporting.
President Michael Sata has praised the United States of America for its efforts in combating diseases such as cancer in the country. Mr. Sata explained that although Zambia has a generous budget, it is not sufficient to tackle maternal and child deaths, which still remain a major challenge. He was speaking at State House, where he held a luncheon for Mr. Bush. Details in this report.
George W. Bush is the first high-profile statesman to visit Zambia since President Michael Sata took office after the September 20 pause. And the visit by the former American president was for a good cause, since his mission in Zambia is on cancer and HIV/AIDS. Mr. Bush arrived at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport this morning and was met by President Michael Sata and First Lady Christine Kaseva. Cabinet ministers and diplomats accredited to Zambia were also at the airport. But security was also very tight, and staff at the airport briefly stopped work to come and see the former U.S. president. And the airport grounds came alive in song and dance. The Amaombe and Chota dance groups briefly showed Mr. Bush and his wife Laura Zambia's cultural heritage. Later, President Sata hosted a luncheon for Mr. Bush at State House. The president took an opportunity to thank America for its efforts in combating diseases in Zambia.
We are very grateful to the visit of President and Mrs. Bush. We are more grateful for what they have brought to Zambia, how they care about us, because although we have a very generous budget, we can't meet all the things which we require, especially in maternal child health.
You and I have several things in common. One, we both love our respective countries a lot. And secondly, we both married really smart women. We are honored to be in your country. We would not be here unleashing a campaign to deal with cervical cancer if there wasn't the commitment of the government. And with that commitment, I commit to you that we will do everything in our power to reduce cervical cancer deaths for the good of all humanity. And
Earlier, President Sata held a closed-door meeting with Mr. Bush. The visit by Mr. Bush is a momentous one in terms of combating HIV/AIDS and bringing more awareness on cancer. Efi Mpande, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
In other news, Vice President Guy Scott has urged all stakeholders not to panic as the PF government is committed to reaching a decision on the Barotse Land Agreement. He told Parliament today that the setting up of the Commission of Inquiry into the Mongo riots of January 14 is a step taken towards reaching a decision on the Barotse Land Agreement. Dr. Scott, who is also leader of government business, was responding to a question from Sikongo MP Mundia Ndalame, who wanted to know government's commitment to fulfilling the promise it made to the people of Western Province regarding the Barotse Land Agreement.
The legal, the political, the social, and